Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to season number 4 of the Ray Esports Racing League, presented by Spec Racer Sports, Alliance Autosport, and RaceVoice here on Apex Racing TV. It's week number 7, and after a week off so our racers could spend some additional time with friends and family for the holidays, tonight we head to that little 10-turn, 2-mile track just outside of Washington, D.C., a circuit that may not have ever hosted a Grand Prix, but each year hosts the SCCA Pro, FRP 1600, and F2000 Championship Series. It's seen its share of amateur racing luminaries such as national champions Paul Newman, Randy Canfield, and Robbie Hines attack the 100+ mile-per-hour chute, and it's given others such as 7-time NASCAR champion Jimmy Johnson and Tom Cruise fits. This week we head to the course. Those of us here in the announce booth, well, I guess it's actually, and we'll talk about this in just a second, it's just me in the announce booth tonight. We like to call it home. It's Summit Point Raceway, and so typically we have Brian Donati joining us, but he is feeling under the weather, so it's going to be just me and Apex Racing TV's Dennis Branch, and of course Dennis is in the production truck. He's going to be giving you all the great views that Apex Racing TV is known for, and he may even pop his head into the commentary booth every once in a while here during tonight's races. And we've got 2 20-minute races, sprint races on tap tonight. First up, we're going to have the Spec Racer Fords. You can see them right now. They're out on track. They've just gotten underway in qualifying. And then we've got the return of the RE2 Formula cars to the Ray Esports Racing League. They'll be joining us just a little bit later tonight. So, Dennis, good evening. How are you doing tonight?
Good evening, Greg. I'm doing well. Looking forward to a good race. I will do my best to fill in for the legendary Brian Donati, but don't expect too much.
All right. Sounds good. Don't worry, my expectations are never anything but low.
There we go. Perfect. You nailed it.
There you go. So Brian was down at Kart Week at Daytona last week and apparently came back with something. Thank you, Ron DeSantis. Anyway, here we go. And we've got our drivers out on track for qualifying. And, of course, 2 weeks ago, our drivers were at Lime Rock, the little bowl ring, 1 mile in length and a very narrow track that's been around for ages. Summit Point has been around since 1970. It's a little bit wider and twice as long, but some of the drivers, if they don't know some of the tricks of the trade here at Summit, may find the passing opportunities slim. And I'm sure Dennis and I will be more than happy to point out when people get it right, when people get it wrong, and when people may find some of those secrets. Of course, we've got a lot of hometown drivers here racing tonight that call Summit Point their home track. So we may see some interesting moves here. So real quick, Dennis, let's take a quick look at where we stand in the points. Now, I said this is week 7 out of 9 weeks total, but out of those 9 weeks, each one of our 3 classes in the Esports Racing League, they will race 6 times. And this is going to be race number 5 for both the Spec Racer Fords as well as the RE2s. And so let's take a look in Spec Racer Ford where we stand after 4 races. Currently, your championship leader is Kayla Patrick. He's got 82 points. He is 22 points up on the rest of the competition right now. John Vogel, who came away with a great win a number of weeks ago at Road Atlanta, he is currently tied for second, probably not tied for second, but he's got a 1-point advantage over Morgan Burkhardt. Vogel with 60 points, Morgan Burkhardt with 59 points. Then we've got Mark Santana in the Santana Racing machine with 56 and running 5th in the points right now. And this was our winner 2 weeks ago at Lime Rock Park, Wan Shi Lin in his Revolution Sim Racing number 30 machine. He now moves up into the top 5, and I believe that is an 11-position jump for Wan Shi Lin. So should be great to see him, see if he can make his way up through the championship. So 2 weeks ago, Wan Shi, as I mentioned, took the win. Kayla Patrick finished, and I believe it was only about 0.2 of a second back. Always very tight, close racing in Spec Racer Ford and also at Lime Rock Park. Patrick finished 2nd. Finishing 3rd was John Vogel. He took the last step on the podium. Morgan Burkhardt, who's sitting 3rd in the championship right now, finished 16th. Had an off with I believe with a lap and a half remaining. Mark Santana finished in 4th, and then finishing 5th. Was John Wilson. Now, Wilson, I believe that was actually his very first race in the championship, and he's currently sitting 17th in the points, so he's got a long way. But watching him in practice, he may make his way up through the order here. All right, so as we've got now, we're just about 6 minutes into the 15-minute qualifying session. We can see here Kayla Patrick has a 44,000th of a second advantage right now over Andrew Benna. It's kind of early in qualifying, but interesting to see Andrew so far up in the field. Typically a mid-pack runner here in the Esports Racing League. Greg Mack, only 1,700ths back from there in 3rd. Morgan Burkhardt in the number 40 machine, currently sitting 4th, and John Vogel currently sitting 5th. But again, about 9 minutes remaining here in this open qualifying session, so plenty of time for them to set times. And we've got 23 drivers that have set lap times already. We've got some newcomers to the Esports Racing League joining us here tonight. We've got Mike Key in the number 990 in the 998 machine. I believe we also have Deacon Greenfield in the number 32 machine joining us, and we had him out for practice, and he ran quite well. We'll have to see. He has not set a wheel on track yet for qualifying. Travis Trussell in the number 140 machine. I mentioned we've got a lot of folks that call Summit Point home. I don't know Travis to race at Summit Point, but very well-known motorsports photographer on the East Coast, and he's typically right trackside at Summit Point Raceway, taking pictures of the racers in real life there. And I know he's been doing a lot of iRacing, both on dirt and pavement asphalt circle tracks for the last couple of years. We'll have to see if he comes out for qualifying. All right, so as we've got a little bit of time here, and we'll have to check in. I believe that we've got some changes here tonight, at least in Spec Racer Ford, that I believe instead of having a pace lap, we're going to have Dennis a
standing start. Yeah,
a standing start, exactly. So things are going to be a little bit different. I think the RE2s, when they race a little bit later, they will go back to having a rolling start. But if we take a look here, and I think we've got a little bit of time, so it may change up the flow of things here a little bit tonight from our normal races. Let's take a quick look here at the MX-5s. They are not racing with us tonight, but they have also completed 4 rounds. We're going to see them next week at Virginia International Raceway, and just want to run down where we are in the championship standings for them. Currently sitting atop the leaderboard, and he made up 2 positions based on his 4th place finish 2 weeks ago at Lime Rock Park. Brennan Horn in the Team Esports Racer entry with 69 points. He has a 4-point advantage right now over Morgan Burkhardt. Burkhardt in the All Sports Racing number 40, he's got 65 points. That is a 2-point advantage over his teammate Kayla Patrick, who's currently sitting 3rd in the MX-5 Championship. Zach Burke in the Team Esport Racer entry is currently sitting, I believe, 11 points back in 4th with 52 points, and then it gets real close from there. Jordy Fike, who's Zach's teammate, with 45 points. Then Lewis Lockshine and Remy Lesperance very close back behind. So things are very tight here in MX-5 as well. And so here we go, and now here we go. We take a look. Got a big change here in the qualifying session at hand. In Spec Racer Ford is Wanchi Lin, our winner at Lime Rock Park. He now moves to the top of the leaderboard. He is your provisional pole sitter with just about 5 minutes remaining in qualifying. He's got an 81/100th of a second advantage over Kayla Patrick. That drops Andrew Benna now back to 3rd with Greg Mack 4th and Beans Forster. Big change there.
Yeah, Morgan jumps right past him. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. So, but you can see how tight it is. There you go. Morgan Burkhardt taking the runoff road over to the pump house.
It looked like Morgan had a little bit of draft help from one of his teammates on that one. So, but hey, and more power to him. Yeah,
exactly. And that's what you need here at Summit Point. Summit Point, we said it's 2 miles. 10 turns. It's actually closer to 2.1 miles, but that front straight, Dennis, is 3/4 of a mile. Yeah, I mean it's such a large
with the
part
Spec
of this
Racer
track.
being such a draft luck type of car, it's always good racing with the Spec Racers here.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean if you can catch the draft, again down the front straight. Also, that little section, although it's kind of a short shoot between turns 2 and 3. You can definitely make up a little bit of ground there, and there are always little shortcuts here as we're watching Wanchi Lin come out of 9 under the bridge through turn 10 and onto the front straight. That you'll see drivers hang all the way drivers left coming underneath that bridge, setting up for turn 10, and that's not necessarily the fast way around. It's actually the longer way around. That much like at Road Atlanta, you want to come directly under the center of the bridge. It's actually very much the same way at Summit Point, and maybe even a little bit to the right of center, and basically trying to shorten the distance between all these different turns. But you can see here as we watch Santana, as we watch newcomer Deacon Greenfield in that 32 machine, the Logitech car to the inside, what the effect of that draft is heading down in the turn 1, and it can certainly affect. I think in the Spec Racer 4, it's probably for a good 3 to 4 miles an hour. It can definitely throw off your
and that's
points.
For a car like this, that's huge.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's take a quick look. We talked about the 2 out of the 3 championships. Also wanted to mention, while we've got just about 3 minutes remaining in this qualifying session, wanted to talk about our sponsor for tonight's Spec Racer Ford race, and that is Spec Racer Sports, and you can see their logo up there on the top right-hand corner of the screen. And they are a new sponsor with the Esports Racing League for season number 4, and their mission here, Dennis, is to help fuel and support your addiction to road racing. And they feel that the way to accomplish this is by providing exceptional customer support, the parts and services you need when you need them at a fair and competitive price. Spec Racer Sports currently stables Spec Racer Fords and offers rental cars that are exceptionally prepared, and they are located at Motorsports Ranch Houston. So if you're looking to jump into one of the Spec Racer Sports cars out at Summit Point, it's going to probably be a huge transportation fee. But if you head out to Houston and Motorsports Ranch Houston, they do have trackside service there. They've got access to the track for rentals or a test drive. And in addition to new car sales, storage, and support, they do offer a complete complement of technical services such as chassis dyno work, driver coaching, and fabrication, all at very competitive rates. So to find out more about Spec Racer Sports and their services, head on over to www.specracersports.com. And so we want to thank them, as we mentioned, for joining us here for Season 4 of the Ray Esports Racing League, as things are counting down here in qualifying. And look at this, Dennis. Kayla Patrick, he's jumped back to the lead.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, and there you go. And you can see as Morgan Burkhardt gets a toe off of Kayla Patrick as they head down the front straight, as looks like somebody else took a little wild ride. I think that was Edgar Sancinelli.
It was, yep.
Yeah, taking a jump to the crossover road over there. But Patrick is your new provisional pole sitter with less than a minute remaining. He's got a 1/10 of a second advantage over his teammate Morgan Burkhardt. Then Wan Chi Lin now sitting provisionally on the inside of row number 2 with John Vogel, Andrew Benna making up the top 5. It looks like it's late joiner Murphy Nichols has put a car on track. He's there in the number 5 machine. You can see the last of those 3 cars there, and he's trying to get in a flyer before the end of the session. He's currently sitting 24th. I know he's just now gotten for Christmas got some new Fanatec gear. I
thought you were going to say he got some new internet, but
I hope so.
Well, maybe.
We'll
there he
out.
goes. See, blinking out already.
Yeah, so
we should stop. Maybe we should look at somebody else.
Yeah, maybe. So apparently a 100-foot Ethernet cable was
there
not one
go.
of the things that he received for Christmas. But we were talking about Travis Trussell earlier. Looks like he did put the car out on track, but still sitting down in 25th. Looks like he's going to start tonight from the tail end of the field as the checkered flag is now out on the session. Flying laps will count. Look at this. Morgan Burkhardt, he gets past Kayla Patrick, sets a fast lap in qualifying of a 1:18.737. That is now a 10th up on Kayla Patrick. So those two drivers swap positions. That means Burkhardt picked up almost 2/10 on that last flying lap. Wan Chi Lin, he's going to have to be content, I think, with 3rd. John Vogel 4th. Benna and Mack, and a good run there from Ben Forster in the 231 car here, as he looks like he is going to bring his car home. He'll start probably on the inside of row number 4. There's Beans in the 231 machine, that blue and yellow machine, as looks like perhaps one last drive. Well, he should have crossed the stripe there. Andrew Wozencroft in the number 80 machine. He turns in a 1:20.69. Joaquin Effinger, you just saw there, checked out of the session. Those two drivers starting at 18th and 19th tonight.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much have our grid. I can't bring it up yet, but you could read it off the tower if you want to.
Yeah, we can certainly do that. And I'll tell you what, as we get ready to bring them up, because we're going to have, a standing start, so we don't have that long pace lap. Wanted to mention that for each one of our 3 classes here for Season 4, we're going to be handing out the Excellent Driver Award. And it is the award is given to the drivers who, after 5 of 6 rounds, they'll get 1 drop, amass the fewest number of iRacing incident points. And we want to thank the Esport Driver Club for providing that award to each one of our 3 classes. So let's take a look at the starting grid tonight. Morgan Burkhardt, as we mentioned, is going to be on the pole with a fast time of 1:18.737. His teammate Kayla Patrick will start right next to him, only a 10th off. On the inside of row number 2, our winner from week 6, Wanqi Lin, turns in a time 0.2 of a second off of our leader. John Vogel will start right next to him on the outside of row number 2 in 4th. Andrew Benna starts 5th with Greg Mack starting 6th. On the inside of row number 4, Ben Forster, or Beans Forster, in the number 231 machine with Jordy Fike starting right next to him in the 09 car. Edgar Sanchinelli in the number 57 Frito Sport Racing machine will start in 9th. Justin Huffman will start 10th. And
we are green flag.
Underway.
That was...
Yeah, very quick start there. I thought it would have taken a little bit longer for the
drivers.
Yeah,
I think everybody gridded up really fast. So here we go.
Here we go, heading down into turn 1. We've got side by side Wanqi Lin and Morgan Burkhardt. Burkhardt on the pole, Wanqi Lin having gotten around Kayla Patrick, and as they come through turn 2, start to make their way down the short chute over towards turn 3. It looks like Patrick's going to try and slot in right behind his teammate Morgan Burkhardt as they head into 3. That left-hander now, Wanqi Lin takes the point but runs a little wide. Then sitting back behind our top 3, it is Andrew Benna, then John Vogel, then Beans Forster. You can see there's Benna in the blue and black, number 71. Defending to the inside, John Vogel, and then we've got Greg Mack as well. Edgar Sanchinelli in the 57 machine. He's in that orange and black Frito Sport Racing entry as our drivers starting to get lined up here. Now, it was interesting as we saw those drivers heading down in the chute with Vogel in the number 4 car going all the way down to the inside, drivers left coming into turn 5. That is, in real life racing here, typically the preferred line. It allows you to protect that corner, and also much easier to make a pass there. As we take a look now as Morgan Burkhardt, he takes the lead back over from Wanqi Lin, and as we complete lap number 1, he is your leader. But Wanqi Lin, he steps to the inside, and for a moment there it looked like Patrick was going to try and make it 3 wide, but part of that battle, and it is 3 wide going down into 1. There is room there for all 3, but Wanqi Lin and Morgan Burkhardt, they get together. Burkhardt goes off driver's left. That now allows Kayla Patrick and Andrew Benna to separate themselves out. They are now still side by side. And then, much as it happened at Road Atlanta, John Vogel takes advantage. He is now in 3rd position with Beans Forster right back behind him. That's going to drop Wanqi Lin back to 5th position. Greg Mack, then Edgar Sanchinelli, Morgan Burkhardt, who took that wild ride through the gravel on the outside of turn 1. He drops all the way back now into 7th position. Oh, and we've got a big pile up, Dennis.
I see it. Yep.
I see Justin Huffman off in the gravel there, pointing counter race. There was another driver that was off as well. I think that was Mike Key. Yeah, here we go. Let's take a look at the replay, Dennis. Let's see what happens here as Burkhardt goes around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like just Sanchinelli lost it going into 5, and everybody started checking up. And actually there, although Huffman lost, I think, the most positions, he was probably the only one that got through there without any contact. But it's definitely opened things up here at the front of the field as we complete lap number 2. And again, remember, this is a 20-minute timed race. Kayla Patrick, he's your leader. Andrew Benna, 2nd. Then we've got Beans Forster in 3rd. And now we look a little further back. Lots of brake lockup. The 399, Josh Justice, gets around Mark Santana. And so Justice now sitting in 8th as we just saw David Thompson there. Thompson in the black and green number 51. He goes off. He drops a number of positions all the way back to 15th position as he takes to the gravel on the outside of turn number 1. But real close running here. And Dennis, looks like Wanqi Lin, he's looking to
he's itching to get back. He's a quick guy. He just, for whatever reason or another, he's always on the wrong end of the incidents.
Yeah, and we saw that at Road Atlanta a number of weeks ago. Now, again, the first time he ran with us, and I know he runs in the Weekend Warrior Spec Racer Ford League,
right?
And is very accomplished there. The first time we saw him was last season at Laguna Seca, and he took the win in his initial Ray Esports outing. But yeah, you said he just seems to always get caught up as collateral damage there. Although I don't know if it was collateral damage. They went in 3 wide for the lead.
Yeah,
there,
3 wide seldomly ever works in iRacing. Doesn't matter where you are or what car it is. Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look here now. Side by side going into one. It's Vogel and Beans Forster, and that is the battle for third position. As looks like Kayla Patrick starting to stretch things out just a little bit on Andrew Benna, and Forster and Vogel right back. Oh, and it looks like for a moment there that Forster was going to make a late lunge on Benna going into turn 3. Thought better of it, got back in line, and it has allowed that little bit of battling for second and and going around is Beans Forster on the inside of turn number 5, slowest corner on the course, but it is so difficult, Dennis, because
I think he got a little bit of a help from John Vogel.
It's quite possible. Let's take a look. Yeah.
I don't know.
It was close, but it looks like again Wan Chi Lin.
Let's look at it from overhead.
All right, let's take a look.
Nope, he lost it on his own. Yeah, the rear end was coming around.
Yeah, I mean, and that is such a challenge. We were, I was talking after that first lap that typically you want to enter turn 5 all the way from the inside, and it allows you to get the wheel straightened up. You don't have to fight the car as you come down that very fast turn 4, the chute at Summit. And it allow there are a lot of advantages to coming down the inside. Of course, it's somewhat difficult sometimes to get the car rotated, but having a loose car has never been something. It's never been a challenge getting the rear end of a Spec Racer Ford to come around.
I have seen that.
All right, so and there you can see Kayla Patrick now stepping out. He's got almost almost a 2.5 second advantage over Benna. But see here is Wan Chi Lin got around Vogel. So move Wan Chi Lin back up to third. And that is Mark Sherman. And Sherman, this is one of his first outings in the Ray Esports Racing League. I believe his first race was at Lime Rock Park 2 weeks ago. Oof. And there's Pax Rolfe. Is he... I'm sure he doesn't appreciate.
Yeah, he's having a tough time getting that car straightened out.
Yeah, exactly. But
and Wan Chi Lin's all the way up to third. He's making moves.
That's right, and I'm wondering how long Ben is going to be able to hold him off, and we're going to see now as Wan Chi Lin goes to the inside, and John Vogel is going to try and follow him right down as they head down into the braking zone for turn 1. Wan Chi Lin, he's got things covered. And I think Benna, he knows what's coming. He's given Vogel lots of room here, and the challenge will be whether or not Benna can make can hold off Vogel from the outside, and he manages to do it. But look at this. Here comes Burkhardt now. And Burkhardt gets around John Vogel. So Burkhardt, who after he went off at turn 1 at the end of lap number 1, he fell all the way back to 8th. He has now worked his way back up to 4th, and of course he started off on the front row and started off on pole for that matter. So he's got a lot to prove here as his teammate is starting to walk away a little bit from the rest of the field now. Dennis, we don't have the longest races here in the Ray Esports Racing League, only 20 minutes, so you don't have a lot of time for strategy. But it would probably behoove some of these drivers to maybe stop battling. You said during qualifying, these Spec Racer Fords, they're made for drafting. They do very well together, and 2 and sometimes 3 cars working together down this very long straightaway can certainly make up ground on a car that is all by himself.
Exactly.
Like Kayla Patrick is. And a matter of fact, Patrick now starting to come up on some slower traffic, which might slow him down a little bit. But here we've got Burkhardt, we've got Vogel, we've got Andrew Benna, who last lap was in second place. He's now fallen back into the clutches of John Vogel, and he's again battling out side by side. This is the battle for 4th. And is there contact there, Dennis?
Yes.
And then there was definitely contact there.
Let's go back.
Let's take a quick look here as Andrew Benna. Very challenging turn 3. Let's see. He gets on the brake. Oh, yeah, from the inside there.
Just got a little snap.
Wiggle.
Yep.
Yeah. Got in the Vogel. Vogel, thankfully, was able to hold that car straight. And it looked like he was trying to give Benna the as much room as possible. But then as Benna went around, looks like he got together with another driver. Might have been, I don't know if that was Greg Mack. I think it might have actually, I think it was Actually, it might have been Beans Forster that he got into together with on the exit of that, but that is going to drop. That is going to drop him back considerably, and Benna now is all the way back in 15th position.
Last lap by Wan Chi Lin was half a second quicker than Kayla Patrick, so he's got 1.8 seconds to make up. He's got a little over 10 minutes to do it.
From the rest of the field there, so,
it's possible.
Let's take a look. And there's Effinger and Sanchinelli. Sanchinelli started in 9th, currently running 10th, and a good little battle between he and Joaquin Effinger.
Yeah, Joaquin is up 7 places. He's having a good race.
Yeah, I was to say both he and Andrew Wozencroft, and we were talking about Wozy in the number 80 machine earlier. He's picked up 7 places as well. He's the last couple of weeks here in Spec Racer Fords. He's picked up some time. Again, used to be sitting maybe in the last half of the field, but now sitting almost dead center, sitting 12th in a 24-car field. Not bad for Andrew.
Yeah, he's doing well.
All right, let's take a look here as we're on board. We're following along with our not our pole sitter, but our leader, Kayla Patrick. And yeah, you got it here, Dennis, as Wan Chi Lin starting to definitely close things down. Let's take a look and see what the split was that last time by.
Quarter of a second.
Yeah, about 24 hundredths of a second, 25 hundredths of a second, definitely closing things down. And Burkhardt not all that far behind. I think we'll have to see here what Burkhardt does if he can make his way up to Wan Chi Lin, because it was about 7 hundredths of a second difference between Burkhardt and Wan Chi Lin that time. Question would be whether or not Burkhardt kind of holds station, or whether or not he starts fighting with Wan Chi Lin for that second position, which will allow Patrick most likely to stretch things out again.
Fastest lap of the race, Beans Forster, 18.75. That's quick.
Wow. Yeah, and he's starting to close back up. Of course, Beans had that spin by turn over right there at turn 5 just a few laps ago, and he's trying to work his way back up. Kind of surprising that some of these drivers that looked like that they had gotten into incidents that might be not race ending in the traditional sense, but would have dropped them much further back in the field.
Right.
But they've been able to recover quite well. Wan Chi Lin, obviously. Burkhardt, who had been back to 8th, he's now up into 3rd. Beans Forster, who had been in 2nd place at one point, and he is now back to 5th. Of course, he started 7th. And I don't think we talked about what a great start Forster had, because he did start 7th and was up in the top 3. For the first 2 laps of the race here. There goes John Vogel, though. We were talking about what would happen if Burkhardt got up to Wan Chi Lin, and I think John Vogel might have answered that question for us. That at this point, I think he's diverting Morgan Burkhardt's attention elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly what you were saying. You start scrapping, and then the pack ahead of you just sails away. It doesn't take much.
Yeah, and here's and I know that Morgan has had some time in a street car now, not only on a street car but also in a go-kart here on the Summit Point circuit, and the facility here, now known as Summit Point Motorsports Park. There are actually, besides what is known in local circles as the main track, which is Summit Point Raceway, the 2-mile 10-turn course. We've got the Jefferson Circuit that has been around forever, which was a 1.7-mile 7-turn course. It's been extended, but we also have the Shenandoah Circuit, which is about 2 miles and 17 turns. I liken it very much like Barber Motorsports Park. A lot of elevation changes, and your hands never stop moving. But a very challenging course, not used a lot for road racing, primarily because of just not a lot of runoff area. But again, this is the track that most people head to and want to race. And there's also a small autocross circuit called the Washington Circuit as well at the facility. Here, as we jump back to Vogel and Burkhardt. Oh, it looks like Vogel having a little problem under braking going in the 5, and Morgan Burkhardt comes underneath them, but now Burkhardt runs wide. And you can see there, Burkhardt, he turned in early, going into turn 6A, I think, to cover Vogel. And
just
car
got that
pushed.
little snap. Yep. That's it. Get a little twitchy, get out in the grass, and then and the grass at iRacing is essentially ice.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, and look, these cars, they don't have any kind of tread or anything for the most part. And actually, they've got two double lines that run down the tire here, but they are essentially slicks on these Spec Racer Fords. As we see Burkhardt now trying to get around Beans Forrester, he does the right thing, gets a run on him coming through 10, drafts on him as they run down the hill down into turn 1. You can see there the elevation changes. You've got kind of a little crest of a hill over by pit out, and then it drops down towards turn 1. Let's take a look here. We've got Mark Santana. He's in the blue and orange 222 on to your right, and then Edgar Sanchinelli. Good move there from Edgar. Started 9th, and with that pass, he moves up to 9th. Santana, who started 11th, is sitting in 10th right now. So a good run for those drivers in the mid-pack. A couple drivers we haven't talked much about. Right back behind that little battle there of between Burkhardt and Forster is Greg Mack in that Team Esports Racer number 2 machine, and he just seems to be in a little pocket all by himself, and he's been there, I think, Dennis, pretty much since the second lap of the race. Started 6th. That's where he is, and it's
running 6th there.
Yeah. And with now only 4 minutes remaining, just has to run a consistent laps, and the way some of these drivers have gone off, the race might come back to him. Speaking of which, let's take a look here at that battle for the lead as Wan Qilin continues to try to work his way up to Patry now, again with less than 4 minutes remaining, and last time by. Margin difference in lap times. Wan Qilin still the faster of the 2 drivers, but only 0.06 of a second. So it looks like
Caleb has kind of turned it up a little bit. He saw Wan Qi come in and
just doing what he needs to manage the gap there as he heads down into turn 5. And Vogel and Burkhardt are still about 2.5 seconds off a win, but now it looks like with that off that Burkhardt had last lap right at this section of the track over by turn 6B, Vogel has really cemented 3rd place, and Burkhardt now has to worry about Beans Forster in that 231 machine. So things starting to stretch out a little bit here. Dennis, we were talking about how at Lime Rock how close the finish was, and typically in every race is pretty much nose to tail at Lime Rock, but how close Spec Racer Ford racing typically is because it relies on the draft. But
exactly.
You can see here on the front straight, things have really stretched out a little bit.
Yeah, this isn't the norm. They're, week in and week out, these guys are, at least the front pack, they are always nose to tail. It is always a grinder right to the end.
Yeah, and not so much tonight here, but Beans Forster, he's making a show of it here.
He's hounding him.
Yeah, he's had a good run coming through 1, had the inside position. It's interesting to see here. We saw it early on in the race with Andrew Benna. We saw here with Morgan Burkhardt that to see that run from the outside from driver's left going into turn 1 and all the way the long way around through turn 2, and to still have be able to get the run and at least be alongside and maybe even a little ahead going into turn 3. A little bit of a surprise in real life. That outside lane, very difficult to either hold off a driver or make a pass. But, again, you have preferred position going into 3. Let's see what happens here with Beans Forster this time by. When they came out of 10 the last time, he was able to draft right up to the back of Morgan Burkhardt. And again, the way these cars are set up, their body styles have not changed much since the mid 80s, and they were designed to be able to draft. And you notice that the nose will almost slot right in behind and underneath the tail of the car ahead. But this time, Forster not able to get quite close enough. But he's going to try and draft all the way down to 3. We'll see what happens if Burkhardt gets defensive, if he takes to the center of the track. And you remember, Dennis, when I said that there are 2 sections of the track where one of them was coming up the hill under the bridge. Oh, as Forster goes a little wide coming through 3, that you don't want to necessarily hug the side of the track. While the other place is actually coming out of turn 2, going into turn 3. You'll typically see drivers hang. And for the second time tonight, Beans Forster puts the car around on what I believe is going to be the very last lap. And has a little trouble getting that car back underway. Dennis, let's try and jump up to Kayla Patrick, up to our leader, because this may be the very last lap. Let's take a look here as we've got 15 seconds remaining as he comes through turn 10. Wanchi Lin about a second back. So Wanchi Lin, he's picked up some more ground, and it looks like it's come down. Yeah, this should be the checkered flag by about 2 seconds. And crossing the stripe, it is Kayla Patrick who goes for the ride. Literally, as he launches himself. 3 points for Kayla Patrick, gets the field goal there, and finishing second is going to be Wanchi Lin. Finishes about 1 second behind John Vogel, manages to hold on to third in that number four car. Morgan Burkhardt will come in fourth. Greg Mack will finish fifth. His initial outing with us here on the Race Sports Racing League, Josh Justice in the 399 machine, he will come home in sixth. Then we've got Charles Vaccaro, Edgar Sancinelli, Beans Forster with that last lap spin at turn 5. He brings the car home in ninth, and rounding out the top 10 will be Mark Santana. And should note that finishing just outside the top 10, he had been in second place for so long. Andrew Benna in the number 71 machine, he comes home in 11th. All right, so as Dennis, we've got some folks starting to queue up here.
Yeah, we've got Caleb
in the green room. Yeah, we'll tell you what. Why don't we bring in Caleb? We'll start the interviews off, and whoever comes along, we'll see and possibly bring them in. Caleb Patrick, congratulations on your win this evening.
Thank you.
So tell me, that the first 2 laps there, and actually at the end of lap 1, starting lap number 2, you were 3 wide going down into turn 1 with your teammate Morgan Burkhardt and with Wanchi Lin. And suddenly you come through there. You were, I believe, to the inside, and both of those drivers get together and roll off. What exactly were you thinking at that point?
First of all, I don't really exactly know what happened. I got a little loose on the inside line, just trying to roll the car down and trying to save it. I think I just pushed a little bit wide and may have ran Wanchi wide, which I'd feel bad for if it was my fault. But after that, I just kind of saw them drop behind me, and after a couple more laps, I just saw I had a gap. But then I could tell Wanchi was definitely closing in on me, so I just tried to hold my ground, and thankfully I came out just ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think pretty much from that point, what we saw, between cars either getting into one another or spinning off, it turned into just more or less a lesson in gap management up until the end. As Wanchi was starting to pick up and make up some ground on you, it looked like towards the end, just kind of matched his pace within a couple hundredths of a second. And, it was what you needed to take the win. So anybody you'd like to thank this evening, Caleb?
Well, certainly Spec Racer Sports for sponsoring this. You guys for the broadcast, Steve Ray and everybody at Ray Esports for setting these events up, and Team All Sports for their wonderful setup help. Appreciate the support.
Excellent. And so as you are the championship leader at the moment in RE2, I suspect that we'll see you in the next race.
For sure.
All right. Well, we'll see you there. Kayla Patrick, our winner tonight in Spec Racer 4 Gen 3 in the number 198 machine. We'll see him back in just a few moments. Let's jump over now to John Vogel. Vogel, who came in third tonight in that number 4 machine. John, congratulations on your podium finish tonight.
Hey, Greg. Thanks.
So tell me, it looked like a pretty challenging race that you had there this evening, both with Beans Forster early on, with Andrew Benna, and then certainly with Morgan Burkhardt, as Burkhardt was trying to work his way back after that early race spin. Tell us a little bit about your race.
Well, I mean, the first part of the race was just a battle worried about Caleb getting away. I just had a hunch if he got a gap, and Wanchi Lin, he's just fast everywhere all the time. If you can just run with, you feel like it was a great night. And I really don't even remember much of the beginning of the race. In the middle, I was hoping Morgan and I could hook up and chase those guys down. He had good pace, I can see by his lap times, but I didn't have confidence we were going to catch him, so I took the point, and then I slipped, and he slipped, and I hope I didn't run him off the track there, but I don't know. I just kept my foot down. I don't know what to say.
I was gonna say at one point it looked like you had a little bobble over in turn 5, and then he might have gone to cover at turn 6 and ran wide over at turn 6B, and and that was pretty much all she wrote as Patrick started to just kind of cement his lead over there.
He really did.
All right, so. Did you see any cars out there with my face on them tonight?
I didn't, and I almost put your face on mine, but then I didn't know what to do, so I didn't do it.
It would probably bring you nothing but bad luck. So you're finishing on the podium right now. Let's keep my face. I got a face for radio, not a face
change
for
anything.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
You,
so no problem at all, John. Congratulations. Are we going to see you tonight for our second race in RE2?
I did. I just logged in, and it's probably going to be a train wreck. I'll try not to hit anybody. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, good luck in our second race tonight, John, and hopefully it turns out well for you, everybody. John Vogel finishing third tonight in Spec Racer Ford. All right, so Dennis, why don't we, as we typically do after our first race, why don't we take a quick little break, thank some of our sponsors here for the Esports Racing League and Apex Racing TV, and when we come back, we will have the last couple moments of qualifying for the RE2 open wheel class, or USF 2000 drivers. And so you are watching Season 4 of the Ray Esports Racing League. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Datapacks also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
All right, and we're back here at Summit Point Raceway for Season 4 of the Esports Racing League. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Dennis Branch, and as we mentioned earlier, get well, Brian Donati. Hopefully we'll see him in the next 2 weeks. In fact, Brian, I believe, was scheduled to be off next week, so we'll probably see him in 2 weeks, assuming he gets better. And so next up on the docket is what we call in the Esports Racing League RE2. For the Ray Enterprises 2, actually very similar to the Sports Car Club of America's FE2, or Formula Enterprises 2 racers, and in the iRacing platform we use the USF 2000 cars, which are actually very, very close chassis-wise to those cars. And as you can see here, we are, well, this is interesting, a 20-minute qualifying session instead of a 15-minute qualifying session, but you know, I'll take it. Here is our provisional pole sitter, almost 3/4 of the way through, is Tyler Campbell with a fast time of a 107.431. That's 0.8 up on Tom Pendergrass, and I know Tom from the SCCA Foundation League, and typically here for the Ray Esports Racing League, you either need to be a Sports Car Club of America member or have made a donation to the SCCA Foundation. And so Tom in the number 23 machine, second fastest driver here with about 5 minutes remaining in qualifying. Kayla Patrick, who we spoke to just a few moments ago, he is currently third, and he is 1.6 seconds, I believe, off of provisional pole. Then Justin Huffman, that's Jamison Huffman's father. He actually races one of these cars in real life, and you know, we're waiting for him to put that car on the podium. Hasn't had the best of luck in the number 223 machine, but he is currently fourth fastest. He's got his car sitting in the pit lane at the moment. Murphy Nichols in the number 5 car, fifth fastest. There is Murphy in that All Sports Racing red, white, and blue machine. Then John Wilson, Beans Forster, who we saw just a few moments ago in the Spec Racer Ford. Dave Thompson, Michael San Inocencio, and Mark Santana rounding out the top 10. And so of course, Dennis, you know, we mentioned that you know, last week the league took a week off from broadcasting, but you know, we actually had some fun races for the drivers, a little bit off format, shall we say?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we had like about 15 of our series regulars go to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park and race something a little bit different. Not Formula cars, not Spec Racer Fords, not Miatas, but the big old Pirelli World Challenge GT Cadillac CTSVs.
Oh my God, the Titanic.
Yes,
Jesus.
You know, but to have to muscle that car around, and Pirelli World Challenge used to run as part of their
tough.
schedule.
Yeah,
and they used to run what was known at the time as Mosport or Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in those cars, and you know, we had Randy Popes do as a driver in one of those cars. I think. Oh gosh, off the Flowery Branch, Georgia. I'm trying to remember his name, and it'll come to me eventually. But lots of great drivers in those Cadillacs, and so we had a heat race, and then we inverted the field for the feature race. And Beans Forster, who ran so well, and there he is. There's Beans in the 14 machine. Who just getting around a spinner there at turn 5. He won the sprint race with Josh Justice and Felix Borodati rounding out the top 3, and then we inverted the field for the for the feature race, and Josh Justice, who started all the way at the tail end of the field, actually started second to last, started in 12th, comes home with the win. Felix Borodati, who started 11th, finished second, and then Pax Rolf, great run for Pax. Pax started 10th, and he finished in third. So it looks like that for that feature race. You know, these are the guys that really had that chassis nailed down, were able to really hustle around CTMP, that they worked their way from the back of the field. So now that we've got about 2 minutes remaining, and I'm done talking about and waxing philosophical about Pirelli World Challenge Cadillacs, let's take a look at the standings here in RE2. Again, these drivers, they have raced 4 out of 6 races this season so far. This will be their 5th race of the season, and currently sitting atop the leaderboard. We talked to him a little bit earlier. He took the win in Spec Racer Ford. Kayla Patrick, he's got 94 points, and that is a 35-point advantage over Jamison Huffman. Now, I talked about Justin Huffman racing these things in real life. His son Jamison obviously has run quite well, and I don't think Jamison is here with us this evening. We didn't see him in the Spec Racer Fords, and I don't see him
I don't see him
on track or in the pits. Yeah, so it looks like Dad's going to have to hold down the fort for the Huffman clan tonight. Jamison with 59 points has a 4-point advantage over John Wilson, who had a great finish a couple weeks ago, finished 6th at Lime Rock Park, but I believe came home in 2nd at Road Atlanta. Wilson is sitting at 55 points in 3rd, and then we've got Morgan Burkhardt and Zach Burke tied at 54 points in 5th position. Mark Santana, not all that far back, he's about 9 points back with 46. He's sixth fastest, and then a tie for 7th, Murphy Nichols and Tyler Campbell. And of course, Tyler Campbell, who's our provisional pole sitter here with less than a minute remaining, with a 6/10 of a second advantage. I'm sure, he's wondering what could have been. He had been leading that race at Road Atlanta 3 weeks ago when he and a lot of the folks using Comcast just lost connectivity to the iRacing service. I think he had a 7-second lead over the rest of the field and just disappeared. And stuff like that happens in real life. It's I guess the iRacing internet equivalent of a mechanical failure. And So, and he actually was able to get back into the session. I think worked his way back up to 7th, but, getting kind of unfortunate there. All right, so as the checkered flag is now out, last flying laps will count Tyler Campbell, who we were just talking about. For the moment, he is your provisional pole sitter with a 107.431. Caleb Patry in the 198 car. I believe he is still out on track, and we'll see if he is still running. I believe he is. We'll see if he can best Campbell's times. Tom Pendergrass in the 23 machine, currently 3rd fastest, and we're watching right now. And there's Pendergrass. He pulled off by the Pump House Road on the outside of turn 1. So it looks like his session is over. Let's see Kayla Patrick. He comes around turn 10 on his last flying lap. Let's see if he can beat a 107.43. Again, best he's done so far is a 108.08. As he goes and he crosses the line, what does he turn in? He turns in a 107.
Faster, but not enough.
Yeah, not quite enough. Still about 3/10 off of Tyler Campbell's times, but Campbell and Patry, they're going to start on the outside, or they're going to start out on the front row tonight. And there we go. Looks like Justin Huffman managed to hold off Murphy Nichols, who we saw just come around. Huffman, 4th fastest. Murphy Nichols in the number 5 car, 5th fastest. As we're going to have our drivers grid up here in just a moment, and as they do, we'll run down the full starting order for you. Our RE2 drivers, they are going to have a full pace lap, so Dennis and I might see the start this time. All right, let's go here. We've got the starting grid ready to go. On the front row, as we mentioned, the 2 All Sports Racing teammates, Tyler Campbell in the number 37 machine, Caleb Patry, his teammate, coming off his win in Spec Race Ford. They'll make up the front row. Starting 3rd tonight is Tom Pendergrass in the number 23 machine, with Justin Huffman in the 223 machine, starting right next to him in 4th. On the inside of row number 3 is Murphy Nichols in the Smoketown Brewery number 5 machine, with Beans Forster in the number 14 car starting in 6th. John Wilson will start on the inside of row number 4 with Mark Santana right next to him in the 222 machine starting in 8th. David Thompson will start 9th with Andrew Benna, looking for a little bit of redemption after he fell outside the top 10 in Spec Racer Ford, and he'll start on the outside of row number 5. Michael Inocencio will start 11th with John Vogel. And what did John say during that interview after the Spec Racer Ford race? He's just going to try and not to crash or something, or
just stay out of trouble. Yeah, we'll see.
Stay out of trouble. That was it. So we'll see if John Vogel, who starts on the outside of row number 6, can stay out of trouble. All right, starting 13th tonight, Greg Mack in the Team Esport Racer number 2 machine with Charles Vaccaro in the 221, starting next to him in 14th. Russ Lundberg in the RGL Motorsports 129 will start 15th. Jordy Fike in the Team Esports Racer 09 car will start 16th. Joaquin Effinger will start 17th. Yeah, we should have known wherever you see Lundberg, you see Effinger, so they're starting nose to tail in the 7th and 8th rows. Let's see, Pax Rolf will start 18th. John Casey will start 19th, the number 78 machine, with Deacon Greenfield starting next to him in 20th. Gary Winters in the 02 car will start 21st with Andrew Wozencroft 22nd. Greg Brockway 23rd with Wayne Buttermore starting 24th. And then we've got Patrick Preventis. A little surprise here to see Patrick sitting all the way back in 25th, starting right next to Mark Sherman. And then we'll have to see Travis Trussell if he makes the grid. And he did set a time, so
it looks like he's there. Yeah,
27th. Yeah, so we'll see how Travis does. Again, typically a circle track guy in iRacing, but he knows Summit well. We'll have to see if he can get a handle on the handling of these formula cars. And so as our drivers are heading out for their 2-mile parade lap, or a pace lap here of Summit Point Raceway, let's talk quickly about our sponsor for tonight's second race of the evening, and that is Alliance Autosport. They've been with us since the very beginning. Alliance Autosport, based in Columbus, Ohio, has found success both at the club as well as professional racing levels, garnering multiple championships, including 8 SCCA National Championships, 3 SCCA Pro Racing Championships, and a USF 2000 National Class Championship. Alliance Autosports team members are dedicated, hardworking, and know what it takes to win. Alliance is SCCA Enterprises Great Lakes Division customer service rep for Formula Enterprises 2 and Spec Racer Ford 3, and their services include arrive and drive packages for Spec Racer Ford Gen 3, FE2, as well as, if you want to go pro racing, Trans Am 2. They provide customer car prep, trackside support, transportation, storage, part sales, data analysis, hospitality, as well as driver coaching and development. To join Alliance Autosport on the winning track, check them out at allianceautosport.com. Did they throw the green flag yet? No.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. I got to slow that down a little bit there,
no.
as we've got.
I don't think you could.
No,
it's too long of a read.
Yeah. Actually, what I need is a water. All right, here, as we've got the pace car bringing our pole sitter, Tyler Campbell. There in that black number 37 machine. Kayla Patrick in the red, white, and blue 198 up the hill out of turn 8 and underneath the bridge. And when that pace car heads into the pit lane, Kayla Patrick and Tyler Campbell will have the field. And now the pace car should make that brake hard right, and he does, or she does. And the number 37, Tyler Campbell, now has the field as they round turn number 10 onto the long front straight here. And as we get ready for the green flag, pack looks very well formed. And I see a green flag still up in the air. There we go, green flag.
He got it.
And, and we have 2 cars that go off. Is that Buttermore? Oh, we have a couple cars that got taken out there.
Looks like San Inocencio.
And maybe Travis Trussell as well. as we've got Patrick. He's going to lead the field down into turn 1. That is going to drop Tyler Campbell back into second. He's got Tom Pendergrass right beside him as they come out of turn 2, making their way down towards turn 3. Sitting in 4th right now is Murphy Nichols in the number 5 machine with Justin Huffman, Beans Forrester, David Thompson, as things start to straighten out now as they come through turn 3, make their way down the hill and head down towards turn 5, and getting hung out to the outside there just a little bit, the 71 machine of Andrew Benna, but manages to hold. Oh, and going around, that is, looks like...
we got Fike, we've got
machine.
Buttermore and Pendergrass, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like Pendergrass, who was up in 3rd position. He went around the 223 machine of Justin Huffman. We were just talking about. Yeah, let's take a look at the replay here and see what happened, Dennis. As they came down through the chute and set up for turn 5, and maybe Patrick got into the back of Pendergrass. And as Pendergrass went wide, and looks like Justin Huffman just didn't have anywhere to go as Pendergrass came back across. But for the 2nd race in a row, that allows our leader to open up a heck of a lead there as Kayla Patrick gets around. Oh, and we've got coming through turn 1.
That's
the 14
that's
of
Beans.
Yeah, he goes around as tires still a little cold here, and interesting thing here is that. Apparently, it's a fairly cool May morning here at Summit Point Raceway for this RE2 race, so it might take a little longer for the drivers' tires to get up to temp. And you can see there is Campbell, who is currently running 2nd. He was our pole sitter. Looked like might have been a little loose going into turn 6, and these drivers maybe just still trying to get some heat in the tires. And look at that, Tyler Campbell goes off at turn 8 into the grass, and he's going to lose a number of positions. Good recovery for him to get the car back underway. Let's see what happened here as he comes through turn 8. And got up onto the curbing on the outside of 8. Now that curbing there, though, Dennis, is, at least in real life, is very, very flat. It's basically just painted asphalt there. There's no rise to it at all, but it looked like, at least in iRacing, it looked like that car just kind of lifted up a little bit.
Yeah, we couldn't really see it from that angle. I'm not really sure if he maybe caught a little bit of grass, a little bit of gravel. You know how iRacing is, you catch just 1 pixel of grass, and it can be, especially on cold tires.
Yeah, and the interesting thing there about turn 8 is it's an opening radius turn. It opens up, but there's such a huge tendency to turn in early. That it wouldn't surprise me if maybe he just kind of under cold tires ran out of ground there. As it looks like
Picaro,
the 221.
I think that was Mack.
Is that Greg Mack that went off with him? I think so. Let's take a look here as they come down in the 5. Yeah, there's the number 2 of Mack.
Yeah, Mack just kind of gets a little squirrely, checks up a bit. And Charles just didn't really have anywhere to go.
No, not at all. There is, Greg Mack.
That's a shame because he was running well.
Yeah, and we mentioned that we were talking about during practice that he was doing very well, and he's picked up quite in both Spec Racer Fords and the FE2s. He's
yes,
picked up a lot
exactly.
Of speed in the last couple of weeks.
That's good to see.
All right, so let's take a look here as we're on board in the 02 machine. That is Gary Winters, and he's got Buttermore in the 23 racing, and Wayne Buttermore is starting to look pretty racy as well. There they've got Andrew. I should have known that Andrew Wozencroft will be right near Wayne Buttermore.
And Andrew's he is sans wing, so
yeah.
Now a lot of time in the open wheel cars on iRacing, it will show graphically that there's no wing, but the car will still drive as if it has one, just damaged. So you can actually still drive the car and keep the rear end on the tarmac. You're just going to be slower.
Yeah, and a matter of fact, watching them come through turn 4, which you would think turn 4 is the fastest corner on this course, and that is a place that I would have expected that if you didn't have a rear wing,
you would lose it. Yeah,
yeah, and he carried a decent amount of speed through there. So
yeah, I've seen that on the F1 car, both F1 cars, and what was the other one? The F3 as well. I've seen that. So. Okay. Yeah, it's just kind of one of those iRacing things.
Yeah, now we know it applies to the USF 2000 cars as well.
Yep, there you go.
So, Here we go as we are back as Charles Vaccaro trying to work his way back up after that unfortunate loss. Notice that that run-in with Greg Mack didn't take off his front wing here, and he's made up a couple positions. You know, interesting here is Vaccaro. When we saw him battling out with Greg Mack, he was I think up in like 9th or 10th position. Vaccaro actually started 14th, so he had made up a number of positions at the start of the race here. As we look now at the Team 046 Racing entry of John Casey. And a good little battle there between Casey and Travis Trussell. So look at this. So Trussell, who started at the tail end of the field, Dennis, he's now up to 9th.
18 spots. Wow.
Yeah, so for the moment, you're a hard charger. Travis Trussell, only a couple of spots back behind him. Gary Winters has made up 10 positions. But, we said, was wondering if Trussell would be able to get a handle on the setup of these RE2 machines, and he's doing pretty darn well.
Hey, sometimes if you can drive, you can drive. It doesn't always matter what it is.
All right, so here we go. Take a look at this. Now, Andrew Benna, after that disappointing finish in Spec Racer Ford, he is now up into 3rd position. He's picked up 7 positions, and he's got John Wilson back behind him. John Wilson in that orange and blue number 82 machine. Wilson started 7th. He's up to 4th. Then we've got David Thompson and Mark Santana pretty darn close behind. So, Benna definitely needs to put his head down, but looks like he's got a good little fight on his hands here if they can manage to draft up.
And Caleb out all on his own. You can see why he's leading the championship. He's got a 5-second lead, 7 laps in.
Yeah, and when we saw Tyler Campbell go off early on in this race, you just kind of knew that was going to be, the end result there, because. At the time that Campbell went off, Patrick had already opened up about a 2-second advantage, and it was about another 3 back to anybody else there. And you can see Murphy Nichols currently, 4.5, almost 5 seconds in arrears, just kind of settling in to that second place position. And Nichols, who started off, I think, in 5th, so good run for him so far. All right, here's Greg Brockway. Brockway has made up 9 positions. Again, we're starting to see some of these drivers that started towards the rear of the pack make up a number of positions. I think we should mention, of course, Tom Pendergrass. He's still got his car in the pits. Of course, he started 3rd and had that early spin over turn 5. Russ Lundberg is just now leaving the pits. He had his car in. Mike San Inocencio, I think he may have checked out of the session. Greg Mack, who had an early wreck in the number 2 machine as well. Now we are joking at as the drivers are girding up about John Vogel wanting to stay out of trouble. Vogel, I think he's let's see if he's on track. He is on track. He started in 10th position. He is in 10th position. He is sitting in 21st at the moment, so it looks like John Vogel may have found some trouble.
A little bit, lap down, but he's still running. So
yep. Hey, seat time is a good thing here. As we were looking at the 51 machine there for a moment. That was David Thompson, who mentioned is up in 5th, picked up 4 positions. Oh, having a little trouble.
Andrew Benna's around.
Yeah. Oh, and there you go, Andrew Benna, who had been up to 3rd. He goes around.
Let's take a look.
Let's take a look at the replay. Yeah, comes over the curb, going through turn 7, takes some grass. Oh, and there he goes off.
That's a couple of times that we've seen the curbs just kind of upset these cars.
Yeah, but he also, you could see there that he also turned in a little bit early there.
Yeah.
And I think it was more that he made a beeline for the grass rather than the pavement there. Just little slip of the wheel there, but that's going to drop Andrew Benna now back a long way. Let's see where he is. Benna now falls back to 8th. He started in 6th, but he had worked his way all the way up to 2nd at one point. So again, kind of unfortunate for him. He's going to have to work his way back through here as we're back on board with David Thompson in that 51 machine. Oh, a lot of big lockup from Thompson going down into turn 5.
And here comes.
He's got Beans.
Beans got him.
Here we go. Forster, takes advantage. He comes down to the inside as Thompson had that big lockup going in there.
Yeah, that kind of looked a little bit like Thompson was driving in his mirrors, and
yeah,
that's what happens sometimes.
Just got onto the brakes a little bit too late, and locked it up to at least kept the car on the pavement, kept the car rolling, but probably got nice shaky front axle at this point. Oh, little move there is Justin Huffman, who's currently running in 15th after that early incident at turn 5. He's trying to work his way back up there, and looks like he gave a little deference to some of the mid-pack runners there.
Oh, there's Thompson off.
Yeah, Thompson.
He goes. Look and see what that.
That was over at turn 1. Let's see what happens as he comes down, and it just looks like he ran himself
out
deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seen that a lot.
Ran deep, missed the apex. Yeah. I think he may be starting to push that car a little hard to try and make his way back up. Maybe a little red mist there. As we've got looking at Brockway, just ahead of him, Vaccaro, Effinger, and Justin Hoffman in that red, white, and blue 223 machine. And as Effinger, a good little run from him. Picked up 3 positions, started 17th up to 14th. As we've got just a little bit over 8 minutes remaining in this 20-minute race. And, again, if you like what you see here from Summit Point Raceway and you want to see more of it, go ahead and give us that big thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe to Apex Racing TV, clicking on that notification bell so you can find out about all the great motorsports, virtual motorsports programming that Apex offers. And, of course, if you want to find out more about those offerings, you can catch us on social media, on the Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. Just search for one word, Apex Racing TV. As we jump back to this great battle going on between Charles Vaccaro and Joaquin Effinger as they came out of turn 8 under the bridge going into turn 10. Vaccaro gets around Joaquin Effinger. Nice little move there. Carried good speed up the hill, but it looks like Effinger's not done yet here as Vaccaro gets very defensive coming down the front straight. Now he moves over, drivers off to try and open up that turn, and he manages to hold off the 700 car, at least for the time being. But you can see there Greg Brockway in that gray, black, and purple number 062. He manages to close up a little bit on the 700. So, every punch, there's that little counter punch, and you have to, Dennis, you always have to worry about what... if you're going to try to take a position, what the ill effects could be, and
absolutely,
in many cases,
yeah. Sometimes you can go for a send and not quite make it, and then you open yourself up to getting passed by the guy behind you, and
exactly,
nothing feels worse than that.
No, not at all. All right, so here, let's take a look, and we haven't seen them all race. John Casey and Gary Winters, good little battle here going on. Casey in that 046 machine, he's picked up 9 positions. Gary Winters has picked up 10 positions. They're running 10th and 11th currently. Oh, and John Casey...
Commentator's curse, there it is.
Yeah, just gave it a little bit too much throttle coming through. Maybe got on the throttle a little bit early. Post apex there, sent the rear end around. And so now Gary Winters has made up 11 positions. John Casey's only made up 8. Funny how that
the
changes.
Thunderfoot strikes, yeah.
Yep. That's why, I need to run a car that has almost no horsepower. Kind of like a Formula V. All right, here. Or I typically race the Jetta in iRacing, which means
the Jetta. Oh my goodness, not the Jetta.
Well, look, for a guy who primarily races front-wheel drive cars, the Jetta is pretty much the closest.
Hey, you know what? There used to be a league. It was a UK league. I can't remember exactly the name. But it was the Jetta, and it was crazy popular. And I mean by top pro level drivers. It was packed every week, week in and week out, and the racing was bad. It was really, really good racing.
I mean, they're big giant bricks. Oh, look at this! Look at this move here with this is Beans Forster, who, speaking of Jettas, I've raced Beans tons of times in the SCCA Foundations League where we race Jettas, and good little move there as he is trying to get around John Wilson. This is a battle for a step on the podium here, as Beans Forster is now side by side with John Wilson going down into turn 1. This is the battle for third.
He's got it.
Yeah, he's got it. But look right behind that battle, as those two were going down in the one side by side. That is the number 37 car of Tyler Campbell, who had that early spin from second. And he's not all that far out of a podium position right now, with a little bit less than 5 minutes remaining here at Summit Point in our 20-minute RE2 race.
Yeah, and Tyler's last lap was an 8:13, which is about a second and a half quicker than the guys, the two guys in front of him.
A second and a half faster.
So he's,
Yeah, we'll see here as he comes back to the scene of the crime, carries speed up the hill. And, here coming up to turn 10, you typically don't want to make the pass right here because it's only going to slow your exit speed onto the front straight. But if he can stay close, and I remember talking to Tyler after the very first week that these cars ran, the one thing that he mentioned, as opposed to, some of the other Formula cars, like let's say a Formula 3 car or some of the Formula 1 cars where, driving close behind is Campbell. Looks like he's going to take over fourth position as he now gets around John Wilson, as opposed to some of the Formula 1 cars or the Formula 3 cars where it's very difficult to race close behind because you get, much like in real life,
the dirty air. Yeah.
And you'll end up just understeering away and scrubbing off those front tires. These RE2 or USF 2000 cars don't seem to be afflicted by that. He said, and I remember from that very first RE2 race that we had, where I think it was he and Morgan Burkhardt were more or less nose to tail for almost the entire race. And it just doesn't affect the tire wear on these cars at all, or the handling for that matter.
Interesting.
So, so I mean, he could just kind of sit in and track right in behind, and he's definitely making up ground there on Beans Forster. Now we just saw coming over the 13 car. That was I guess the 13 machine of Pax Rolf. He pulled over to, I think, to try and get a draft off of Forster, and then realized that Campbell was it was in a battle with that 14 car. So Rolf moved over, I think, very quickly to kind of check out of that fight. But now you can see how quickly the 37 car made up ground on Forster.
Yeah, and really quick. He is all over him now, and we're about 2 minutes left.
Yeah, about 2 minutes out. So this lap and probably two more.
Maybe two more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he'll get it done. Is.
Yeah, let's take a look there. And Kayla Patrick just now coming down into turn number 1. So pretty much the whole length of the front straight, separating first, second, and third. And so we should have, probably another 2 laps here. As you can see, Campbell makes a move to the inside.
Forster's not going to give it to him.
No, you have to wonder. I mean, typically you make one move, and but at this point, Forster he's not reacting to what Campbell is doing. He's he's picking his line. And, no blocking there. So good run, but they're both coming up on some traffic, a lot of traffic here. And, as they're going to come down into the carousel, this is probably the best thing that the 37 car Campbell could hope for. Oh, it looks like Greg Brockway, one of the 2 cars that were in front of this pack, he just pulls over and lets them go by. And let's see, who's that other driver? Is that the 700 ahead of him?
It is. It's Joaquin.
Yep, so there we go. And Joaquin Effinger, he pulls over drivers right to let them by. And so now our leader, Kayla Patrick, he should be on his final lap here from Summit Point. And as we're watching now, Beans Forster trying to hold off. Oh, you know, and I forgot Murphy Nichols. Murphy Nichols sitting in second. But this is the battle for third right now with Beans Forster trying to hold off the 37 car. Forster takes a defensive line going down in the 1. And you remember earlier when we were talking about the Spec Racer Fords about making a pass from the outside?
Yep.
This is what I expected to see. In the Spec Racer Fords, you could just pretty much pull right up alongside, and it's like you had a side draft or something here, but Forster had the car perfectly positioned, made things very difficult for Campbell. And now Campbell, he's going to come down the inside, going into turn 5, checks up on the brakes, but he's going to make Forster go the long way around through 5, but things switch back over as they come through 6A and 6B. Forster comes to the inside, much shorter distance to carry. He's going to hold off Tyler Campbell for the moment as Kayla Patrick comes down the front straight, crosses start-finish. Kayla Patrick, double winner tonight, takes the win in Spec Racer Ford and the win in RE2. Murphy Nichols, he's going to come home in second. And let's see who's going to be our last step on the podium. It is Beans Forster. He manages to hold off Tyler Campbell at the line by a difference of 0.3 of a second. And so Beans Forster, he will come home in third. Tyler Campbell will finish in fourth. You know, what could have been for our pole sitter. John Wilson will finish in 5th. Mark Santana will finish 6th. David Thompson will finish 7th. Travis Trussell, definitely the hard charger winner here. Travis Trussell makes up 19 positions. He finishes 8th tonight. Des.
Excellent drive. Excellent drive.
There you go. Justin Huffman, who started on row 2, he finishes in 9th. John Casey will round out the top 10. So great running there, and great running from Travis Trussell. I wish we could get him in to the interview room. We'll see if he shows up. If not, you know, we'll see if he can, if he's going to continue to race with us, because he did a great job in his initial outing here. All right, tell you what, let's bring in first off. We're going to bring in Tyler Campbell, who finished 3rd tonight, and I think we're gonna run through at least 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And Campbell, of course, finished 4th. Well, hopefully we'll get Beans Forster in here. So let's start off with Tyler Campbell. He finishes 4th tonight in RE2. Tyler, great comeback tonight. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened there in the first couple laps?
Yeah, I guess I just didn't get a great jump off the line. I was waiting for green. I think they probably just timed it better than I did. And then I guess I went in a little bit hot. Looked like Thomas maybe took a little bit of a more conservative braking point and tried to jink out of the way, and we ended up touching. So I feel really bad about knocking him out. And then really was just pushing it. I had a slightly different aero setup for qualifying.
Okay.
So I just ended up pushing a little bit too much in the right-hander there and grabbing the grass. So that was essentially the end of my race there.
Yeah, we were wondering if it was just perhaps cold tires, or maybe you turned in a little bit early there and just ran out of pavement. As you know, usually I see the big ground pounders and high horsepower cars at Summit Point do that in real life with great regularity. But you know, again, early on in the race. But great run back through the field. Tell us a little bit about that. Those last couple laps battling it out with Beans Forster.
Oh man, it's always fun racing against him. We've had some great battles in the past, and I think GT3 cars. And yeah, it was great. He was quick, which was nice. So I wasn't able to catch him too fast. And I know he's a clean driver, so really he had it. He was quick where he needed it, and I just didn't have the confidence to send it in on him like under braking. So yeah, it was real clean, real good. Congrats to him on the third place, and I guess I'll walk away with 4th.
All right, so Tyler Campbell, anybody you'd like to thank tonight for your 4th place finish?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all 27 of us that came out today and decided to race. It was it's always good fun seeing so many people came out. And hopefully we can get them some more practice, and we can get a better finish next time. Better start.
Absolutely. All right, Tyler Campbell, driver of the number 37 machine, thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you next week at Virginia International Raceway.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Dennis.
All right, there you go, Tyler Campbell finishing 4th tonight. Let's move up now to Beans Forster, finishing 3rd tonight in RE2. Beans, how you doing this evening? Ben, you with us?
Oh, yeah, here. Sorry about that.
There you go. All right. Well, congratulations on your podium finish tonight. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the last couple of laps there, trying to hold off Tyler Campbell, our pole sitter?
Staring fearlessly at the relative, just trying to keep him as far back as I could. And then once I started hitting those lap cars, he got within that second mark, and it was real tough trying to keep him back.
And obviously, you came off, a little bit of upset there in the Spec Racer Fords. Much better race for you tonight. You still had your little travails. Actually, I think we're just watching right now during the replay as you went off over by turn one early on in the race. You gave up a lot of positions, but you managed to make your way all the way back through. What was that march back through the field like?
I was a little upset that I spun right there with the cold tires and whatnot, and I haven't driven this car in a while, so once I kind of got into a groove, I just kind of stuck with it and tried to push just a tiny bit more than usual, and just try and make sure I make clean passes and not do that again.
All right, so Beans, anybody you'd like to thank tonight for your run?
I just want to thank my family for letting me kind of sit down and do this and everything.
All right, well, there you go. Beans Forrester finishing third tonight in RE2. Thanks for joining us tonight, and hopefully we'll see you next week at VIR.
Well, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, there you go. Beans Forrester finishing third tonight in RE2. Let's jump up. Dennis, do we have time to bring in our final two podium finishers tonight?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, tell you what then, let's bring in Murphy Nichols. Murphy in that Smoketown Brewery RE2. He finishes on the second step of the podium. And Murphy, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good.
There we go. All right, so Murphy, perhaps a little bit of a surprise to find yourself up there on the second step of the podium. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your race tonight?
It was a good race overall. I mean, I guess maybe good might not be the best word. It was good for me. It was kind of sad to see like what happened to Tyler and Thomas. Like I was kind of hoping to have a good little battle with them. I knew I wasn't the quickest, but I knew I had a secret strategy to make the car stable. But I just didn't have anything for Caleb. Like he was just able to walk away.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, once Caleb and as Caleb had his issues, and of course the other driver had his issues, you were just kind of in this nice little pocket there. Just had to manage your way through some slower traffic as you work through, but turned into be a fairly uneventful race for you. Certainly a little different than the Spec Racer Ford race that you had earlier this evening.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one.
Well, one out of two ain't bad, and hopefully next year for Christmas we'll get you like 100-foot Ethernet cable or something like that.
Yep, hopefully.
All right, anybody you'd like to thank tonight, Murphy?
Definitely all the All Sports guys, obviously for being great teammates. Caleb, Tyler especially for sharing not just to me but to all the guys for the setup, and you guys for putting on a great broadcast as always.
Very cool. Thanks so much, Murphy, and we'll see you, I'm sure, next week at VIR.
Yep, I'll be here.
All right, very cool. There you go. Murphy Nichols, driver of the All Sports Racing Smoketown Brewery number 5 RE2, finishing second tonight here in the 5th race of the season for the RE2. So, Dennis, that leaves one person and one person only. We've already talked to him once, but why don't we bring him in a second time? Let's bring in Kayla Patrick, tonight's winner in RE2. Caleb, congratulations on your second win of the evening.
Thank you once again.
So Tyler was saying that perhaps he was a little gun shy, or maybe a little late to respond to the green flag there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that start?
Yeah, I mean, I just, as usual, just kind of try to time it right, and fortunately, I was able to just get off the line a little bit better than him, and then clear him into one, and then from there on, From there on out, I just saw that I had a gap, and I've just kind of cruising, and eventually I saw him drop back and saw that I had a bigger gap. So.
So for the second race tonight, somewhat non-consequential, and you just sit back there and try and manage the gaps over 20 minutes.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I was just trying to turn laps, trying to get as low of a lap time as possible without uh, spinning the car off, or spinning the car out, or going off course. So, but yeah, I could definitely see there was a gap, and the main objective was just to manage it and not make it shrink.
There you go. All right. So, Caleb, why don't you? I know we had a list of people after race number 1, but anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's win in RE2?
Well, I guess same people as before. Alliance Autosport for their sponsorship, Apex Racing TV for their broadcast, Steve Ray and everybody at Ray Esports for setting up these events, and Team All Sports. I'd like to give a special shout out to Morgan and Jameson for not showing up and making my job a little easier.
Yeah, I we didn't even realize that Morgan didn't race the second race tonight. And I know James.
That was very nice of them, I gotta say.
Yes. It's not exactly like the fix was in, but there you go. Yeah, I was going to say, Caleb, as you came into the evening as the points leader in the championship here, I don't think you can point to a couple guys not showing up for your stroke of good fortune here in tonight's race. So congratulations on another win, and hopefully we'll see you. Although we're not racing, I don't think we're racing the RE2. Yeah, actually we are racing the RE2s next week at VIR. Hopefully we will see you in both the RE2s and the MX5s next week.
Yep, I will be there.
All right, sounds good. That was Kayla Patrick, driver of the number 198 All Sports Racing Machine, who takes the win in both Spec Racer Ford and in RE2. All right, so Dennis, before we wrap up, and I as things have been kind of jumbled up this evening and the flow's been a little bit off, wanted to mention a new series that's going to be starting here in the Ray Esports racing family. Starting up in March, we're going to have an endurance series, 4-hour races that are going to pretty much mimic the tracks that the Sports Car Club of America and their new endurance series are going to be heading to over the course of the year. And going to have our first race in March. It's going to be March 12th, and I believe that's a Saturday. Going to be a 4-hour endurance race at Sebring International Raceway. It's going to be for all three of the TCR cars that are in the iRacing platform now: the Civic Type R, the Hyundai Elantra N, as well as the Audi RS3. Going to be the return of the Ford Mustangs. So if you want to drive a nice ground pounder at Sebring, you can do that over 4 hours. And we're also, of course, going to have the Mazda MX-5s. Again, that is going to be on Saturday, March 12th. That's going to be the opening round of the Endurance Series. If you want to find out more about the Endurance Series, and if you want to join either that series or if you want to come race with us here in the Ray Esports Racing League, as we still have a few weeks left to go in this season, head on over to rayesportsracing.com/leagues for all of the information, and hopefully you'll be on track with us soon enough. So, Dennis, as we mentioned, next week we're going to be heading to, as Paul Newman called it, heaven on earth. They're going to be heading to Virginia International Raceway. We're going to have the RE2s. They're going to be our lead-off race, and then the Mazda MX-5s will make their return, and should be some great racing.
That should be really good racing, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe that is going to be the last of the races for the RE2s this season. That should be round number 6 for them, and it will be round number 5 for the MX-5s. We only have 2 more weeks of the regular season. We've got Virginia International Raceway and we've got Mid-Ohio coming up before we head out to Sonoma for our championship runoffs in 3 weeks. So time is running down. But again, if you want to join us, head on over to rayesportsracing.com/leagues to find out more about it. So for Dennis Branch, who done a great job bringing us all the great camera angles, views, and his expert commentary here as well, I'm Greg Ginsburg. Thank you so much, Dennis. And we will see you next week. I think we make a pretty good team. We don't need Brian Donati to come to VIR next week.
Just don't tell him. Tell him the series ended already. And that's it.
Exactly what I'll tell him. All right. So for Dennis Branch, I'm Greg Ginsburg. We'll see you next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. from Virginia International Raceway. And Happy New Year's, everybody, and to a much better 2022. We'll see you next week.